In today's video, we'll be talking about a major system that will be impacting the Northeast. National Weather Service has issued a bunch of warnings, including blizzard warnings, because of the intense snowfall we'll be seeing and the intense winds we'll be seeing. Let's get into the video and get you weather aware. Alright everyone, right now we are looking at the GFS model here, and we're just going to go ahead and outline some of the players here. We can see the jet stream right here dipping down into the southeast, and we could see maybe even some iguanas falling out of the sky in Florida, because when it goes below 40 degrees, they kind of become immobilized and start falling off the trees, so it could be raining iguanas in some areas. And we can see a little bit of moisture right here that will be forming a low pressure system that will be our nor'easter that will be heading up the northeast. And that will be causing many damaging stuff as we get on later into the video. But right now, we are paying attention to what's happening right now. And we can see a good bit of snow showers, some lake effect snow, and we can see some totals getting up pretty high here, up to 8 inches in some areas, as that light snow to moderate snow is just stalling there off Lake Michigan. And Chicago could be getting a lot of snow. Wind chill values could be getting down to negative 40 degrees here, which is just crazy, as the nor'easter will be heading up and out of there, causing some afterwinds, and that will be causing some pretty cold wind chill values. We can see in the night our 0 degree line will be right here, around right there, dipping into Wisconsin there, so it could get really cold, like really cold, and you just prepare for the cold. And we can see a little bit of snow that will happen for the Appalachian Mountains, anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. I think a safe bet would be 6 to 8 inches. That would be a safe bet. But the low pressure system will be heading up here, combining with the moisture from the Clipper system that was actually heading out of the United States yesterday, and the lake effect snow, and that will be giving it a lot of moisture because of this Gulf Stream here also. This Gulf Stream will be providing a very warm ocean for this low pressure system to glide across here. It could be bombing out here with more than 24 millibars within 24 hours. Its bombing out is 24 millibars in 24 hours. It could be pretty well over, getting up to 30 millibars, maybe even more. And that is just crazy. So it could be bombing out, a snow cane, people are calling it, but we just have to wait and see when the low forms. But the low will probably form very soon here, and the low maybe has already formed, as the GFS has not detected it because this is 06Z. Let's go ahead and move out a few hours, more like 6. Right now we are 12 hours out here, 1 p.m. on January 28th, or 1 p.m. today. We can see the low pressure system has already formed, and we can see a bit of pretty heavy rain off the coast of Mexico there, and Corpus Christi could also be getting in on that rain, and South Texas could be getting on a little bit of rain. You guys need the rain because you guys are getting a pretty bad drought up there, which is, it's really bad. It's getting really bad, so you guys could be thankful for that, but we don't want too much rain, and you guys could be seeing some pretty heavy rain, so it could be getting concerning for the flooding. But we are seeing the trough dip even sharper here, which will cause the nor'easter to either move east. If it gets a little bit sharper, instead of like this, if it gets sharper like that, it could move definitely farther east. But if it stays like this, it could move farther west, and a high pressure system will be developing over here, and that will also guide the nor'easter to what it's going to do. We're going to move it out 6 hours here, another 6 hours, and we can definitely see the low pressure system starting to take its toll here on some of the areas, as it is starting to connect with this moisture here of the Clipper system, I'm pretty sure, of the Clipper system, and that will be causing a good bit of snow, up to 6 inches in the Appalachian Mountains. And Kentucky, West Kentucky could be, East Kentucky could be getting a little bit of snow too. West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and some more areas such as New Jersey could also be getting in on some of the snow showers, but that will not be the main event, as the low pressure system will connect with this moisture and start heading up here. So we can see, well, it's 1008 millibars. It can't strengthen that much, right? In this span, it can strengthen up to 50 millibars, which is just crazy. Let's go ahead and move it out 6 hours here, and we can see it's definitely strengthening very fast as it's starting to connect with this moisture, heading up on the Gulf Stream, which is providing it also a lot of convection that is starting to blow up here. And we can see a ton of snow here that will be forming a lot more, a ton of snow still for some areas, and this should be pretty good. But we can see 979 millibars. It has shifted a little bit farther east here, and that could be a problem for some areas, because some areas right here could be getting a little bit of rain that yesterday they could have gotten a little bit of rain, but now that it's starting to get farther out of the question here, as a low pressure system actually came a little bit farther west here on the model. It came a little bit farther west, and it's just bombing out 974 millibars. We can see very heavy snow here for this area, getting closer to the low pressure system, even heavier snow, which it could be getting up to 3-4 inches an hour rate, which is kind of crazy. And the low pressure system finally starts to move out here, and it finally does. It finally moves into the Canadian border as it starts to get really strong, 967, and then it finally moves out of here, causing a little bit of snow showers left behind, but not much. We can see just the regular clipper systems riding the jet stream as the trough from the nor'easter will be starting to head out. As you know, the low pressure system is right here, right? If it's rotating this way and it's starting to bring up warm air, we can see the warm air being brung up here and the cold air being brung down here. So we can see the way it is rotating, it's bringing up the warm air from the south and bringing up the cold air from the north. It is very hard to predict nor'easters, as in if it moves too far east, then some areas could be getting less snow. But if it's right in the middle, it could be really bad. But if it moves a little bit too far west, it could be bringing up a little bit more of that Atlantic moisture and could be mixing in sleet, freezing air, and rain, or all of it: snow, freezing rain, sleet, and just rain. So it's very hard to predict nor'easters. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and go to the Ecmwf High Res. Right now we are looking at the Ecmwf High Res, and we can see already a little bit of snow showers for the Appalachian Mountains here, and again could be getting up to 6 inches in some areas. And I'll be showing all the snowfall at the end of the video. The GFS, the NAM, and the Ecmwf High Res I'll be all showing at the end of the video, so stick around to see that. But we can see the low pressure system definitely starting to head up the coast here, as it is starting to hit the Gulf Stream, the main part of the Gulf Stream that really fuels nor'easters, and is starting to connect to the moisture that the clipper system left behind. We can see two high pressure systems that could be steering the nor'easter. And as it will be heading up the northeast, let's go ahead and move it out a little bit. We can see moving out a little bit too far. We can see just 6 hours. We can see actually not that bad of strengthening, as the Ecmwf has been a little bit slower on the strengthening trend here, as we can see still a lot of snow for some areas, possibly over 30 inches for some areas, and NAM is actually going all out on the system with 42 inches I was reading earlier today. We can see here a good bit of ice here bordering the snow and the rain. That if that hits Cape Cod, it could cause a little bit of problems. And we can see we have an extreme impact for Cape Cod, and Rhode Island here could be getting in on that too. And that could be devastating for New York also. It could be devastating for New York City and just the New York State. We're moving it out a little bit here, and we can see the storm definitely becoming much stronger here as the ice and freezing rain start to become a little bit heavier, but no one will be really getting that except the far east side of Cape Cod. We can see the snow is still staying heavy here for hours at a time. It's been 12 hours that we've had steady heavy snow so far on this model. We're gonna go ahead and move it out here, and boom, look at that heavy snow. We are actually topping the charts here, 969 millibars. We are at the top of the chart here for the snow. This is 4 inches to 6 inches an hour rates here the Ecmwf High Res is predicting, and this is just crazy. If this continues for an hour, 6 inches possible. That is just mind-blowing. But I really wanted to highlight something here. Well, what I was talking about earlier of the low pressure system spinning this way, right? Counterclockwise, it's spinning that way. We can see it pulling up the Atlantic moisture right there, and we can see it pulling down that Canadian cold air. You can definitely see that. So you can see these orange red lines here, right there, right? And that is the warmer area, and we can see these blue lines stretching a big area, huge area. That is the 540 line. That is the freezing mark. So we can see it definitely pulling down that air, that cold air from Canada, and just forcing up that warm air from the Gulf Stream and the Atlantic, tropical Atlantic from Florida. And as it is doing this, it's forcing down so much cold air that it will be getting down to Florida there. So remember, falling iguanas, raining iguanas. And let's go ahead and move it out a little bit. And we can see the storm still strengthening here, bombing out 962 millibars here. And we can see still very heavy snow, light to moderate snow. And getting into Canada, we can see moderate to heavy snow. And, well, this is more of a light to moderate snow, probably moderate there. And as we move out the model even more, we can see low pressure system finally moving out of the US, and we can see Maine still getting in on some of that snow, and Canada getting in on some of that ice and snow, as the system will be weakening as it is encountering some drier air in Canada. We can see a little bit of lingering showers and snow showers and ice showers that will be lingering from the storm over the Gulf Stream because of the convection popping up there because of the warm ocean temperatures, and that will be causing, maybe some ships. It could be causing a pretty big hassle for, and the wave height is pretty big, so that is just huge. We can see the cold air being forced down, right? The cold air being forced down and the warm air being forced up here. So we'll see what happens, as the storm is still very hard to predict, even though the low has probably already formed there. Let's go ahead and see what the NAM 3 kilometer says. Right now, we are looking at the beginnings of the model here. Actually, this is a little bit too far out. Let's go ahead and put it back there. And we can see already, apparently, the low has formed for the 12Z NAM 3 kilometer. The low has already formed there. Getting to the bottom of the screen, the low has already formed. And if we move it out a couple of hours here, let's move it out. We moved it out 8 hours there. And we can see a little bit of snow here forming again from the moisture of the Clipper system that came, and the lake effect snow. That'll be connecting with the convection blowing up over the Gulf Stream, and that is actually the nor'easter, as I was talking about earlier. We can see the trough there, the jet stream coming up here and then going down off the screen. But we can see, if we move it out just a little bit more, we can see this low pressure system just starts blowing out convection everywhere because of the warm ocean waters. It stays temperate even during the winter months. We can see still a good bit of snow getting heavy in some areas, as that will be moving off the coast and will be mainly impacting this area. But New Jersey and the DC area and Virginia will be getting in on some of that early snow. Just a teaser for the nor'easter. We can see moving out a few hours, we can see it just pushes a little bit of pretty heavy to moderate snow on the coast there, pushing a little bit of snow, and that is again a little teaser to the nor'easter. 984 millibars hasn't even headed up to its main state over here, and that is where it will be around its strongest, getting up to Cape Cod and getting up to north of Cape Cod. That is when it will be the strongest. If we move it out a little bit more here, we can see it just dumping snow, pretty heavy snow for some areas, especially, again, Cape Cod could be getting in a little bit of rain because of the 540 line barely touching there. And we can see that rain could be freezing on the ground. It isn't going to be necessarily freezing rain, but since the ground is so cold, when it falls, when it touches the ground, it could eventually freeze, and that could be a big problem. New Jersey getting in on a bit of heavy snow here. New Jersey getting on a bit of heavy snow, and we can see Pennsylvania, East Pennsylvania mainly getting into on some of those snow showers. New York and Long Island also getting in on those moderate to heavy snow showers. If we start moving it out a little bit, we can see it starts, I mean, really heavy. This is the top of the charts. If you guys can see this, that is the top of the chart there. That is actually maxed out. So that is 14 inches an hour right there. That is the rate, and that will actually be impacting Cape Cod there mainly, and Long Island right here, and Connecticut will be getting impacted by these areas as it will start to move out, but still very heavy snow, and 963 millibars. That is still getting moderate to heavy snow showers, but snow getting light into some areas. But we can see as it finally starts to move out, snow showers may be lingering. We can see a little bit of convection staying over the Gulf Stream, because that's what usually happens because of all the warm air. And ocean temperatures as ships will be crossing, that could be a good bit of an issue as the moisture is left by the northeaster and will be heading out. But yeah, that's really it for the NAM 3 kilometer. Let's go ahead and check out the Gfs Snowfall, Ecmwf High Res Snowfall, and the NAM 3 kilometer snowfall. Right now we are looking at the Gfs Snowfall here, and we can see a good bit of snowfall for this area here. Actually, that will be the main pinpoint on the GFS. The GFS is a little bit low on the snowfall here, so we could see definitely overperforming here on the GFS model. The GFS model is definitely putting the snowfall just really low compared to the other models. Even Ecmwf High Res is putting it up to 10 more inches, maybe even more than the model, especially the NAM, which is putting it way more than double. So you guys will be seeing that 14.9 inches, 15.9 here, getting into some areas. Let's go ahead and look, 24 inches there. So that is pretty good. Long Island 15.6. Let's actually read a little bit more. 20 inches for, not Cape Cod, sorry, I keep on getting them mixed up. Long Island, and then Cape Cod right here could be getting anywhere from 15 inches to 19 inches. So 15 to 20 inches would be a safe area for the snow accumulations. And this is actually still not that bad if this plays out. This is still a ton of snow, but nothing compared to the other models. And speaking of, let's go ahead and move on to the Ecmwf High Res. Right now we are looking at the Ecmwf High Res here, and we can definitely see, not as sharp here of a downfall as it is reaching a little bit farther into New York and Pennsylvania there. But let's go ahead and check out the snowfall totals. 25 inches, 26 inches. So this area was 15.9 inches, and this is apparently 25.9. So actually almost 10 inches more. Well, actually is 10 inches more exactly than the GFS model there. We can see Long Island here still getting a good bit, actually a little bit less than the GFS model here, 18 inches, 15 inches, but the NAM 3 kilometer is actually going crazy on this system here, absolutely crazy. And speaking of that model, let's go ahead and get into that NAM 3 kilometer because it's actually just mind-blowing. Right now we are looking at the NAM, not kilometer, just the plain NAM model. We can see a ton of snow, especially that's around the bullseye. Off the coast will be a little bit more there. But if we keep on looking here, we can see, let's see, 29 inches, 35 inches. I don't know, that's almost 3 feet. And the Weather Nation in-house model was actually measuring over 36 feet in some areas, which is just crazy. 36 feet in this area, their in-house model of Weather Nation there. And wow, that's just mind-blowing on how much snow there can be. And the reason is, of course, is this line of 540 line there that will be being brung down from the cold Canadian air, because low pressure system, remember, rotating like this, it's bringing down all of the cold air from the Canadian border and bringing up all of the warm air from the Atlantic, which is just crazy. We can see here a little bit sharper of a downfall here, as we can see still 6 inches on that boundary, but it just falls off there to 1.3 inches. And yeah, that's still pretty good. 6 inches, 10 inches, and then getting up to into the 3 feet, 2 feet mark. You guys could be measuring in feet, which is just crazy. And the last thing we are going to check out is the Ecmwf High Res wind speed. Right now we are looking 36 hours out here, and we can see still a lot of wind here, looking similar to yesterday's model here. And let's go ahead, 72 knots. Yep, very similar to yesterday's model, barely off the coast, 72 knots. Long Island could be definitely getting in on some of that. The most eastern edge of Long Island will be getting 70 knots. Getting into Connecticut and some areas around there, we can see 73 knots, which is just crazy. That's hurricane force, right? Is 75 miles an hour. That's usually what they measure on, but I think it starts at 70 miles an hour, 69 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, anywhere there. I just forgot completely. But usually, they usually become a hurricane at 75 miles an hour. Yeah, 75 miles an hour. So 74 miles an hour is a hurricane. So 73 knots? That is just crazy. That is a ton of wind. And this is damaging. It's like Category 1, getting into the strong Category 1, maybe even a Category 2 status here. And we can see, yes, it is coming in there, right there. Actually, it isn't coming in like that. Since the low pressure system is spinning this way, it could be causing 1 to 3 feet of surge there. So the wind is actually coming from here. That is where the wind is coming from. So we can see a lot of surge, especially for Cape Cod there, as it has this little hook area. It definitely catches those winds there. So we'll see what happens with that. And as the system starts to move out, of course, it definitely starts to lose it. But definitely here we can see very windy here. 80 knots, 85 knots, 86 knots. Let's see, the coast of Maine, 92 knots. I want to see the max here, 92 knots. So the next day is even worse here. Surge could be getting actually more than 1 to 3 feet in some areas, as the wind is coming like this. So it's coming more like this. Boom, boom. That is the way the wind is coming. So we can see a lot of surge. For Maine could be getting a little bit less. These guys down here could be getting retreating surf, or the sand will be getting more exposed because it is actually getting blown off the shore there as the wind is coming in there. But anywhere from here is probably the worst for the surge, as the wind, of course, will be coming like this. So it could be the worst surge there. And here also could be the worst surge. So the main surge area will probably be like this. Let's go ahead and do a terrible outlining of doing that. But yeah, probably right here will be the worst surge. And as we get over here, we could be seeing some negative surge there as the wind is blowing the ocean water off the coast. Here also could be getting a little bit of surge. And yeah, that is the main area. And then the storm finally starts to move out there, losing some of its wind speed and actually losing its pressure as it moves out of the United States. And yeah, that's really it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye.